Welcome back. I'm Gary Parr.
And I'm Vanna Pfeiffer.
You're listening to the midweek version of Fiber Talk, the twice-weekly podcast for the needlework artist. Sponsored by Sassy Jack Stitchery. And here's a word from Kim.
This edition of Fiber Talk is proudly sponsored by Sassy Jack Stitchery. Sassy Jack's is a vibrant young needlework shop located on the picturesque Main Street of Weaverville, North Carolina. We hope you find a way to come visit us soon. If you can't make it to us, then visit us on Facebook or Instagram. We love it when you stop by and say hi, whether it's in person or online. Many heartfelt thanks to everyone who stitched our free download, Aussie Friends. We are overwhelmed by how many of you have taken the time to stitch and post this sweet little benefit for fire recovery in Australia. Please feel free to share this design with anyone you like, including guilds and stitch groups. We'll be tallying up all the posted and emailed finishes through February 29th to determine our contribution to 2 Australian charities working on fire recovery. Every stitch counts, and we so appreciate all of your positive energy, thoughts, and prayers going to everyone and every animal impacted by these horrific wildfires. Thank you for stitching with us to support our Aussie friends. If you haven't signed up for our winter online class module, Learning Stitches, please join us as we're just getting rolling. You can find the info on our homepage at sassyjackstitchery.com. We'd love to have you join us on this first of many fun and affordable online workshops. We truly appreciate you, and we really appreciate all the good things we hear and learn from Fiber Talk. We are super proud to be a sponsor of this wonderful resource of stitching goodness. Thank you, Fiber Talk, for giving us some stabby pokey talk twice a week. Kim and team at Sassy Jack Stitchery.
Thanks, Kim. Kim, in her most recent floss tube, she's getting floche.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep, she's ordering floche. I think we started something.
Yeah, probably people don't think so. Some people, but
I think we started something. Yeah.
Yep, I believe we did too.
Yeah, because that's well, somebody else posted they carried all the full line of floche. So It's a wonderful thread. Yep. So Kim will be having the entire line coming up soon.
Awesome.
So that's good. At the Sassy Jacks. So call Kim. She'll get it. Yep.
That's awesome.
That's good. So we had fun Sunday.
We did.
With the Stitch With Me thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do feel kind of bad, though, still. I can't get over it. I feel like I should have chosen a needlepoint thing that had more contrast because it was so many light colors on that white canvas. I hope people were able to see it well enough. But it looked okay when I watched the video afterwards. It looked okay.
Yeah, it did.
So, yeah. But next time I'll do something that's got darker threads so that it's easier to see the stitches.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that piece, because I was going to finish up the Anasazi song on that, for that show.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a long thing.
Mm.
And I mean, it's like 14 inches long. I think it's on 14-inch stretcher bars, maybe longer. So it's kind of cumbersome to stitch. And then with a camera, I kind of felt like it would be weird. And like I couldn't show it very well. So that's why I didn't use that. And that has nice contrast with the canvas. So then I remembered I had this opal one. So that one I knew that's, 4x4 the design is. I think it's on 8-inch bars, I think. So that's easily handled. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, this counted needle point that, I pulled mine out last week because we'd been talking about my birthday stitch, and I thought, even though Nancy's needle is not like, it's counted work, but it's not hard. I thought I'm going to get back into because I feel like personally that now I'm all self-taught, right? I've never taken a counted needle point or any kind of counted canvas work class. I'm just Vanna with directions. That's it. And
just your innate talent. You're just genetic innate talent.
That's right. That's what it is. It all is that. And I find just reading the pattern is it's sort of difficult for me. I don't know why. But it's different than just reading a cross stitch. Don't you think? Or is that, I mean, you started out with that, so
right.
it's not
So,
like
yeah.
you.
No, it doesn't. I go back and forth. It doesn't make, it doesn't bother me either way.
Yeah, it's hard for me.
But that is it. I mean, I've done that kind of work for years.
Yeah.
And, so I'm just used to that kind of thing. So no, I don't think about it at all. But because you don't, I mean, every hole on the chart is a hole on the canvas.
Right.
In every thread. So you don't go over 2 because sometimes you're going over 10 or 12 or whatever. So it's, every hole is a hole.
And that's what I have a problem for, because then I have to count like threads rather than holes. I don't know. I get confused.
People struggle with that, because if all you've ever done is, for the most part, is kind of cross stitch, 1/2 or 2/2, then when you look at a chart and you see a stitch, then you immediately, your mind just puts it over 2 threads.
Yep.
Because that's what you've always done, for billions and billions of stitches. Yeah. And then when you go to a counted canvas thing, a needlepoint thing, now every hole is a hole. Mm-hmm. And it's not over 2. It could be over any number of things depending on the stitch. And so then you got to switch. And then if you're not paying attention as you're stitching along, you'll lapse back in. And next thing you know, things are out of whack. And
Yep, that's the problem for me. But I will tell you this, so correct me if I'm wrong. Carol Lake did 3 Anasazi point, right? Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I won all 3 of those. They are beautiful.
They are. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful designs. Yep.
And see, I went to see the Mesa Verde people, which was Anasazi people, 3 years ago. I went to Mesa Verde, and I want to do those just because I was, that'd be kind of like a remembrance of that trip.
Right.
And I really want to do that someday.
Yeah. No, those are beautiful. They're beautiful designs. She's really talented. I don't know that she does that much anymore. She used to do a lot of design work, and I don't know that she does that much anymore, if anything, but she still sells the charts. Mm-hmm. But all of her stuff, I think is fantastic. But that trio, and you can see it immediately, a triptych hung on the wall, just beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Yes. And it's in the colors used and things like that is reminiscent of Mesa Verde where I went. And
so it really has a connection for you then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have a beautiful visitor center at Mesa Verde, and those designs that, there's a lot of that color and the stars and stuff like that's in the 3 designs is very reminiscent of what's in the visitor center. So yeah,
they're beautiful. Well, that's I have all 3. Well, that one I bought a back issue of Needlepoint Now, which is one of the magazines. It's the I was going to take a cheap shot, but I won't. I saw it. It was on the cover.
Oh.
And I bought it, but it was in 3 parts.
Oh.
And it was old issue. It was back issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those years where I was traveling a lot. So I just went to needlepoint stores all over the country and eventually got the other 2 and got the 3. And then the other 2 charts I bought from Carol. And to have, because then you got to have all 3. See, but that design. The minute I saw it on the magazine, it was like, I got to do that. I just have to have that because it's just beautiful. And there's those double fan doubles in there are just man, once you get them, they're beautiful.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I just want to note here, because I've been on the computer while we're talking. Anasazi Spirit, Anasazi Song, and Anasazi Dream is all available for PDF download.
There you go.
$15
each.
$15 each. Stitch Play Designs.
Yeah, that's her company. Yes, yes.
So stitchplay.com, all three right there.
Yep.
Finger hovering over the PayPal button.
Keith hovering over your head.
Oh, shoot. They're beautiful. Each one of them are just gorgeous.
Well, I did a show with her. Oh, it's been quite a while now. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a wonderful lady, too. Just tremendous lady. Yeah. A lot of talent. Wonderful person. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Okay. Knock yourself out. Go for it.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, so this Glitz and Glamour, this opal one, I mentioned to somebody asked me about it today on YouTube, I guess it was. But these are the kind of things they look intimidating on the surface, and I won't pretend for a minute that Debbie Rowley's stuff is, I mean, it's top tier. She and Curdy Biggs and a couple of others, I mean, it's top tier design work, and they'll make you, they'll make you work for it because, but their instructions, are so good. That's why I can confidently say to anyone, give it a try, because the instructions are so good that you can follow them and have success. And it's not like, here's a design and they leave you hanging.
Right.
They're both of them very, very good. And, Debbie's, I just think the world of Debbie's designs always have. I just really like what she does. I mean, all of her stuff 98% of it speaks to me. I mean, it's just really hits me. And they're fun to do. And when you get done, you really have an impressive result. And the instructions are crystal clear all the time. And
right.
So I think anybody can pick them up. But then you and I were sharing about earlier today about the one you're working on, Nancy's Needle. Right?
Yeah.
And see, that's a whole series. See, that's a different approach.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for that. I've done 2 of her charts, and they're framed, custom framed and hanging, because I'm really proud of them. And I have probably 3 or 4 more of hers, different, just different. But they all basically use the same stitch.
Yeah.
But what she does with the threads is what makes those go.
Yeah.
And so technically nothing tough.
No.
But the fun thing for me is those over-dyed variegated threads, when you start manipulating them around the design to make to keep the colors kind of the dark here and the light here. I think that's a lot of fun to do. You end up wasting a chunk of thread, but manipulating those colors to keep the look is a lot of fun. And so it just has a different challenge, but
right.
Technically not tough to pull off, but the end result of all of hers are beautiful pieces, every one of them.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And they're not that big, and it's a way to dip your toe into counted work.
Yep.
And give you confidence, because you can get one done in relatively short order. The real hardest part, but it's not hard if you go to a well-stocked needlework shop, and the hardest part is just getting all the different threads.
Right.
Because she uses a wide range of threads. She'll use Caron watercolors, and then she'll use, just regular DMC and, pearl and all kinds of stuff. But, it does beautiful. I have done, I don't have a one of hers in my home because I've done them and given them as gifts.
Oh.
But each one that I've done is absolutely gorgeous. And I even did one in my own colorway. And and it was beautiful. I can't remember which one it was, but it was nice. And so anyways, if anybody, wants to try to get into that, I would really thoroughly suggest Nancy's Needle to just dip your toe into counted work, because it's easy.
Yeah. You get, and not horribly expensive, because
no,
those are like 8 or 10 by 10, I think.
They're usually like 8 or 8 by 8 or 10 by 10. They're always they're always square.
Right. And so it's like 2 or 3 threads usually a Krynick and a Karen and a something.
There's a Splendor. Usually there's a Splendor.
So you're not buying a whole bunch of different threads.
No.
And they're easy to get started.
Mm-hmm.
And to see immediate success with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really feel good at every stitching time. You really feel like you've made good progress, and you can see it come together. And, I think she has a unique niche with her designs and the way she goes about it. In just that way is she makes it easy to do, but when it's done, it's impressive.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And it's, I think, another way that she like appeals to people is that, she does quilts. There's several of her designs that are based on quilts.
Yep.
And, that appeals to people. And I just really love her designs, a large amount of them. And, that's what got me started. And I would say if I was going to choose one to say, because I've done 3 or 4, and my very first one was the easiest one, and it was recommended to me to do that one because it was an easy, just, very easy to read, was Amish Trip Around the World. That's the first one I did.
Uh-huh.
And that's the one I did in 2 or 3. I did it in my own colorway. And I did one just like the model, and then I did another one in my own colorway. Yeah. And turned out they were both very nice. There's a different, you have to do your tension a little bit different, I think. And I was listening to you and Debbie, I don't know, sometime. And she was saying about your tacks, that you should have them, a lot of them, all the way around, and that maintains the warp and the weft of the canvas, so that it's not, like what, uneven or whatever when you get done.
Right. Yeah. You have to. Most people don't put enough tacks in.
Yeah, and that was my problem with about all of them.
And then
and I didn't realize, nobody told me that, because I even asked that at a shop. I was like, why is mine? Because they told me that when they framed it, it was like your canvas wasn't even. And I go, well, what did I do wrong? And they were like, well, you're pulling too tight, or you're doing that. And it's like, no, I don't think that's what it was.
No.
And when you said that, I was like, well, that's what it was. I didn't have enough tacks all the way around.
No, I hate when they have to block them.
Yeah.
The last one that I had previously, it was a Gay and Rogers. And I took it in, and it was just a hair off, but it wasn't square.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to block it. And I hate having that happen to my pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them wetting it. I don't want that. I want it to come off the stretcher bars square.
Right.
And so then that's when I started looking into, what do you have to do to get that canvas on there square?
Uh-huh.
And one thing that I noticed when I took it off the stretcher bars, and I had traveled with the stretcher bars, I had traveled with that project because I had used it, and I've been on planes with it, and as careful as you are. And the stretcher bars had gotten out of square.
Uh-huh.
And it was about that time that we did a show with Curdy Biggs.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I learned about putting those metal angle pieces on the corners.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what Curdy does. And so she was telling about that, just to prevent that kind of thing. You only have to put 2 on, one on opposite corners.
Uh-huh.
But so you square up that stretcher bar, and then you put those on there, and then your stretcher bars are not going to get out of whack.
Uh-huh.
So then you know that it's square. Now, if you use Evertights, and I forgot, I got to tell somebody asked about those other brand I was showing. If you use Evertights or the other ones I showed whenever we did it, they stay square. And you can adjust those as you go. But I'm a firm believer in having a little square, like a tool square, and then making sure those stretcher bars are square. And then if you put those angle pieces on, then they stay that way. But see, that to me, that's the first step.
Yeah.
Then when you put that canvas on there, I literally lay the square on the canvas to make sure the threads are square. So I'll put the tacks on, like I'll put a tack on each side, top, bottom, left, and right, which would be each side. And then I check and make sure it's square. that the threads are square. Lay this tool right on there and make sure it is square. And most people have something, like you have those, we all have those see-through cutting rulers.
Yeah.
You can use those as a square. It doesn't matter, whatever is square. And then I'll put the rest of the tacks on. I work from the center out, and I keep pulling them. But then I check every now and then to make sure that I'm not torquing that canvas. And if you get it on there tight and square, and if you use tacks like every half inch all the way around, it will stay. It will stay. And then from then on, you don't have to worry about that. And then when you pull it off, when you're done, it should be square. I won't promise 100%, but it should be absolutely square, so they don't have to block it to frame it. And but it's to me, it's like everything. It's worth the prep work.
Yeah.
It really is. And if you get it good and tight on those things, then when you go to stitch, that should stay pretty much drum tight. And I have like this opal one now. Yesterday, I'm working in the center. It's getting a little floppy. It gets a little stretchy and gets a little floppy. And so I think I'm going to pull those tacks and tighten it up, just to have it tight. Because to me, that's important too. Is if your canvas is tight, then when you pull your stitches and do those firm, then everything stays square and they hold each other square.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's it. And I know it seems like an awful lot, but it's really worth it. Because when they say, "Oh, it's not square, we're gonna have to block it," it's like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Number one, it's 2 more weeks of monkeying around, and then they're monkeying around with your stitch work.
Yeah.
And trying to stretch it and trying to make it go the way it doesn't want to go, and they're wetting it, and I just hate that. No.
Yeah.
So it's worth it to be. To me, it's worth it to be as square as possible all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, but that makes it sound like it's incredibly complex, but it's really not.
It's not.
Not. It's just it's like anything, it's like you doing finishing or anything. If the underlying base stuff is done right, the rest of it goes together and it stays the way it's supposed to.
Yep.
And like painting a house, you prime the walls, you repair them and prime them right. The cover coat goes on, it looks beautiful. Get lazy, looks like crap. Simple. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. But so I think I'm going to finish up that opal one. In Debbie's series, her Glitz and Glamour series, to me that's a really she's got 2 or 3 series, but that one's a really approachable one because they're small projects, so you can.
And there's a lot of them because I looked yesterday.
There is, yeah.
I was like, holy crap! There's a lot of glitz and glamour there.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's one for just about everybody. I mean, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
And obviously you can change the colors, but she's done them to reflect whatever gemstone or precious stone that she's doing. And, she does a nice job. So, yep. Okay, before we go any further, we got to get this thing in about Barbara Hudson and helping her to get Mary Orr 1831 to Winterthur.
Yep.
So, some people heard Sunday during the show, but Gloria Seaman Allen was a close friend and mentor of Barbara Hudson, Queenstown Samplers, and Barbara's been on the show a couple of times. Tremendous lady, incredibly knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And her mentor, Dr. Allen, passed away this past November. And so, and Dr. Allen is, if you do any looking at all kinds of books, just a real force in the sampler world, a real force. Yeah. You don't have to look very far to see what she has accomplished and what she has left behind. So anyway, Mary Orr 1831, I hope somebody reproduces that because that's one beautiful. I would do that one in a heartbeat.
It's
sampler.
beautiful.
Oh, man. So anyway, Barbara and her colleagues want to get this to Winterthur so it can be preserved and kept and shared at Winterthur. So she's working with Linda Eaton, who we've talked to on the show previously, and I'll put in the show notes that you can send what they need. They need $10,500 to do this, which also I think that really struck me because that is really telling with these museums what it takes to preserve this kind of old stuff.
Yeah.
You know, $10,000 for a sampler, that tells you how much goes into preserving, storing, protecting, all those things. You know, and you know, the HVAC systems and the lighting to protect them and all those things. It's expensive stuff. So they started with 2,500. I think they're probably 3,500 or 4,000 by now, but they need 10,500 to be able to do this in memory of Dr. Allen. So I'll put in the notes. You can send a check. If you want to contribute, you can send a check to Linda Eaton at Winterthur, or you can go to inside.winterthur.org, and Winterthur is WINTERTHUR, winterthur.org/give. And then there, when you go to give your donation amount, you set the designation to other, and then you type in to honor Gloria. And then that gets the money, because it's not obvious when you go there, because it's set up to donate to Winterthur in general. So you put in, go to other, and then you put in to honor Gloria. And then to help this cause move along, and to help Barbara Hudson realize her goal, what she wants to do to honor Dr. Allen, when you donate, we're asking that if you give at least $10 and donate however you donate, then you send an email, and this is all in the honor system. We're trusting you that you're doing this, that you've actually given the money, given at least $10, and we're not checking. We're just believing you. But you send an email to Vanna. So it's Vanna at wetalkfiber.com. Mm-hmm. And by midnight, March 14. And what is the subject line? What did I say?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, what people are saying, I've gotten a couple, and it's been contribution.
Okay. So
let me see. There is. I just got one. Let me see what I've been saving them real nice. I've gotten one that said contribution and another one that said donation.
Okay. So send an email, Vanna at wetalkfiber.com, and let us know that you have contributed to this cause. And then on the 15th of March, we're going to have a drawing. And we're giving away 6 gift certificates. Fiber Talk is funding this. We're giving away 6 gift certificates, one for each of our sponsors. So there'll be 2 $50 gift certificates for Sassy Jacks and The Attic. And then there'll be 4 $25 gift certificates for Fire Poppies, Needle in a Haystack, Shepherd's Needle, and Stitchy Box. So there'll be 6 chances to win. So if you give $10 and you win a $25 one, you made $15. But the bottom line is you've helped make this happen for the sampler world, for needlework in general, and certainly for Barbara Hudson, who, I like Barbara. No kidding. so it's a chance. So contribute. We hope that people will contribute and help this happen. But then we want to give back a little something with these gift certificates. So Vanna at wetalkfiber.com, let her know that you've contributed. Then you'll go into a drawing, and Vanna's keeping this all on a list, so you get a number and everything, and we'll do it all the way we did the last one that we did with Kathy Ray. Yep. So, yeah,
it's gonna be awesome.
Thing. Yeah.
And you should feel good about yourself, because this is our shared, love of needlework and history and artwork, and we love it, and we spend so much money, every year, every day for some of us, buying things and, getting things, and to save it for posterity. And what a wonderful tribute to a woman who, devoted her life to learning about this and sharing it with others, and how we can share this in a small way.
Right.
By, saving this for the future generations. Yep. So.
Yeah, it's a cool idea and a great thing to do for a lady who's done a lot. Yep. So
yeah.
So please do that if you're of a mind. Help that out. Help that move along. Help them get the 10,500 that they need, and then we can have that happen. It would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it will be.
Yep. I'm not sure surprised, but yesterday or Sunday in the show, the Stitch With Me thing, there seemed to be a lot of interest in laying tools.
Yeah.
And I guess if people have done cross stitch a lot, there really isn't much need for a laying tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's an essential tool. I mean, I have one handy all the time. I use that best laying tool to pick threads out sometimes, any number of things. But
pick your teeth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that thing, you get right in between those teeth, you clean them right out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's very nice for digging stuff out of like iPad ports and
right. Clean your fingernails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, I use mine too.
It's almost like a Letterman, tool.
Yeah.
It's that versatile.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But anyway, so, I just keep it handy all the time. I use it for everything.
Yeah.
And best laying tool is what it's called. I know that sounds very generic, but that's literally what it's called. Is best laying tool is the one that I use the most. I have others.
And it's by Rainbow Gallery, right?
Is that who handles them?
I'm pretty certain that's who it is.
Yeah, but just a handy little thing. I don't know. It's 4 or 5 inches long, all metal, sharp. Ooh, be careful. Sharp.
And it's squared, so it never rolls.
Yep. So you can get them. I'm sure Kim has them. I'm sure any of our sponsors has them. But I think it's a good tool to have, just in general. And I mean, I've like for instance on Sarah B. When I have to do the satin stitch, out comes the laying tool, and I lay those things. I lay every thread to make sure that they're going down there smooth like they're supposed to, and makes a difference. If you if you do it in even small satin stitches, if you use the laying tool, you'll get a better result. It'll look,
Yeah, and bore out in the middle of eyelet stitches and.
Yep.
Yeah, and it is by Rainbow Gallery.
Is it? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, handy little thing to have. And what, $20?
It's ranges, but yeah, anywhere from 17 to 25 is what it looks like.
Yeah. That ball game. Yeah, depending on who it is and
where it's at.
Yep. So so not horribly expensive, but worth it. I think it's a good tool. Everybody should have one. Handy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that came up, and there seemed to be interest in that. And there are a ton of laying tools. I mean, people make them out of all kinds of things. Like you said, a trolley needle is one.
I don't suggest that one, however, because I have one.
I have one too. I hate it.
And I can't tell you how many times I've doggone near poked my eye out with it. So I have it still around, but I don't ever put it on my finger because I'm like, not good with it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because you forget you're carting around a 3-inch thick 3-inch long needle on the end of your finger. Yeah, it's
like a 22-inch needle that's soldered to a piece of metal, and
you forget.
And you just like go and if you're weird, I am just very accident prone. I always have been, and I just in the klutz, and I'll just like think, I got an itch on my eye, and then boink, I can't tell you how many times I've done that and almost poked my eye out. So yeah, I just quit using mine at all. But if you stitch with 2 threads or 3 threads, remember when you stitched on 14 count and the big thing was you stitched with 3 threads,
right?
That was a very helpful thing to get them to lay side by side by side.
Yep.
And, I used the trolley, and then I was like, no, this isn't, when I almost had a catastrophe. And then I got a wooden one and thought that was fine. And then somebody introduced me to the BLT, and I was like, oh yeah, and so I bought one, and it's much better.
Yeah.
Fits in your hand, it's just nice. So.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, and there's one, and I own one. There's a whole bunch of, you can buy them. People make them out of African porcupines.
Yeah.
They pick up all the quills that fall on the ground, and they're beautiful, black and white striation. Oh, they're beautiful. And they'll put an end on them, and little jewels and crystals and stuff, and make them pretty. They run $40 to $50.
Yeah.
And I bought one once just because they're really impressive. But I don't like long laying tools. I don't like my hand to be that far away from the actual thread. And I used it for a while, and it was just kind of bugging me. They're nice because they're flexible, And so you can get them, they'll bend a little bit so you can get them to lay right flat on the canvas. But yeah, I don't like it. So now it's just a $50 showpiece. It's just yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's cool to know that the quills, because those quills are long. I mean, they're like 8 inches long. I mean, I wouldn't mess with an African porcupine on a bet.
Yeah.
But yeah. But then, and then of course, there's all kinds of wooden ones. People who are good woodworkers make wooden ones. But check them. Make sure that, especially wood ones, make sure they're smooth. Make sure you don't have some little splinter, because that'll snag up your thread. And you need to have it absolutely smooth so you can run it underneath the thread and get it to lay right and not snag up your thread. So be careful, and be careful that you store them so they don't get nicked up. And one thing I do with my wood ones is I get airline tubing for aquariums, and just cut off a little inch-long piece, and then I stick that on the end, on the tip of the laying tool to protect it so it doesn't get snapped off or dinged up. You can put anything you want on the end. That's just an easy, cheap way, because you can go to a aquarium store and buy a foot of airline tubing for 50 cents, and cover up a whole bunch of laying tools. Give them to your friends, kind of thing.
Oh,
but, yeah.
I just keep mine in the little tube that it comes in.
Well, the best laying tool, yeah, I keep that. But the wood ones.
Oh, you're talking the wood ones.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, the best laying tool, if you're taking that anywhere, you want to put it in that plastic tube, because that sucker's sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It'll be halfway through your arm before you realize it. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's... So anyway, laying tools, yeah. Yeah, I think it's worth having. Yep.
Me too.
Definitely. Yep. So, and then it was interesting, and it kind of prompted a discussion. Darcy Walker was watching the Sunday show and commented on the Fiber Talk website, wetalkfiber.com. What'd she say? Watching you do road stitches. Please do not put your finger on top of your stitch. You transfer oil and dirt. Use a Mellor, M-E-L-L-O-R, I think that's how you say it, to hold the stitch down as you bring your needle up. That is why you want a proper Nelly, I don't know what that means in this case, rather than another needle. Painful to watch you stitch this way. Okay. Brings up a whole series of things about keeping your needlework clean. But I will say that, yeah, I have been known to put my finger on a thread, like doing a large road stitch like that, where I don't want the threads coming loose that I've already laid. So I'll put my finger on it, and I have a Mellor or whatever. I have one, so now I'll use that. So good suggestion, keeps my fingers off of it. But I don't worry about it much, because I'm a ridiculous hand washer. So like over a two-hour period of stitching, I'll probably wash my hand 3 times. I mean, with soap, because I'm very careful about making sure that I don't transfer oils and get my threads dirty. And I love stitching with white thread, and, you just got to be careful. So I'm not worried about that lightly touching that one spot was going to transfer oil and dirt, because I know how clean my hands are. I keep them that way. And the minute they start to feel moist at all, that's when I go wash them again.
Yeah.
I'm just ridiculous like that. But then I thought, her comment that painful to watch me stitch this way. And I thought about, well, wait a minute. That one light touch on that one little area, compared to all the touching you do of threads just to get one ready to stitch with,
yeah,
it's pretty small part of the overall handling of thread.
Right.
So that made me even less concerned, because I mean, just think about a length of DMC, just to strip out a strand. You just ran your finger down the whole length of that strand, just to strip it out.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Right.
So I don't worry about it. But I mean, if you're sitting there eating potato chips and, drinking Kool-Aid and you never wash your hands, but you're just asking for trouble then anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So it didn't bother me.
I don't bother. I mean, I know that there's some people that are very meticulous about that. You're more meticulous about it than I am. It would probably be very painful for Darcy to watch me and see how I stitch. And I don't mean that as a smart aleck. I just mean, I try to keep my work meticulously clean. And I think for the most part it is. I'm very careful about, like I introduced you to you've always put your handkerchief down where your arm lays. And I have always done that piece of cotton with the thread huggers on it, along my bars, even if I was stitching with, whatever. And, I'm careful about that. I don't cover my work though when I'm done with it. I've come in and found my cat laying on it.
Ooh.
I don't, and I touch my threads. Think about it. I keep my threads on a ring and I don't put them in a plastic bag or anything, and I'll throw them in a bag. And then when I get them out there all tangled, and I'll take my hands and run through it like I'm combing hair or something.
Right. Yeah. No, she brings up a good point. I'm not trashing her. She brings up a good point, and I am going to start using my Melior to hold down stitches, because it is one less touch point. But it just, I looked at it as I was reading her thing and reflecting on what she said. You just look at how much you handle threads before they even go into the canvas or into the linen, and it's quite a bit. And to me, that's where the real transfer comes, is that initial handling of the threads. And then, for instance, if I'm doing needlepoint and using a 3-foot long piece of thread to do a Jessica or a road stitch or something like that, then you have to handle that thread quite a bit throughout the stitch just to make sure it doesn't get tangled, because 3 feet long up and down is a lot of thread.
Yeah.
And she just makes a good point, and she got me thinking. But then I started going through, and we were having an exchange earlier about the things we do. Like you said, you don't cover your needlework when you're not working on it. I do.
Yeah.
I have these old, they're handkerchiefs that Marga's dad owned, 100% cotton handkerchiefs. He had a bunch of them. And I use those. Those cover up my work when I'm not working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And threads that I have out that are actively being used, when I'm done with a stitching session, I have a towel that goes over the top of those, so dust stays off of them, light stays off of them. It's probably overkill, but that's the way I am. And so that I know that over the course of time, if I don't stitch for 3 or 4 days, I know that dust is not going to get on the threads. And then we all store our threads away. And I have them in boxes or in drawers or whatever, and in plastic bags, and I never close the plastic bags all the way so air can get in. I do all those things to protect, so that when I'm done with a piece, whenever I get done, then I know that thread is as clean as I could make it be, even though I have to handle it.
Yeah.
And, I go to those extra lengths. Probably ridiculous, probably pointless, but I don't care. I feel better about it. So.
Well, after listening to all that you do for yours, I feel like Pigpen on Peanuts. Oh, shoot. I have Scotch. What is that? Scotch hooks, those hook things. Whatever those are. I have like six or 8 of those hanging right by my chair where I sit for all my projects, one for every project. So when I get done stitching on Sarah B, for example, it goes up on the hook on the wall. And it's open. I don't keep it covered. And now light doesn't really get on it or sunlight doesn't really get on it because it's against the wall, but, and not by a window. It's in a corner. But, I have my threads hanging out. I don't cover my work. Now, when I take it with me somewhere, I have it inside a protective, bag that I've made for it and the threads. But I don't really pay that. I keep my hands clean. I don't lay my arm on my work. I stitch in the ditch. I am cognizant about what I do to my linen or canvas or whatever when I'm stitching, but that's about as far as it goes for me.
Yeah.
I don't get like all wrapped up into that. And if you really sit and think about it, historically, these, 200, 300,
yeah,
250,
exactly. Yep,
did those
exactly.
girls go around worrying about that? I don't know. I mean, I doubt it. And, they're just hanging on a wall, even though you may have it framed and behind glass and stuff, there's still dirt that's going to get in there. And, I don't know. There's a lot of problems in the world, first order problems in the world. And, there's a lot of things that are floating around in my mind that clutter my mind, and I'm just not going to worry any more than what I have to about that. I'm going to do what I have to do, what I've always been done to keep my work clean, but I'm not going to be, like washing down and going in with sterile precision to cross stitch or to do needlework. I'm just not going to do it. That's just me. And
well, and I'm overkill. I'll admit I'm overkill. I do a lot that's not necessary, but it's what makes me comfortable. So, it's the way I'm going to do it.
Right.
But, I mean, I think if you stitch in a reasonably clean environment and your hands are clean, that it's minimal. If you're doing with DMC, you can always wash it, so that's even less of a concern.
Right.
But for instance, this Debbie Rowley thing, I'm not putting that thing underwater.
Oh no!
There's so many different threads in there. I have no idea what would happen with them.
Right.
So to me, it's worth it to go a little extra mile to make sure that stays clean, and that's all white and light pastels, and any dirt's going to show. And like I never have food anywhere near where I'm working.
Yeah, I don't
never.
either.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
And I know some people that eat, I mean, I don't think they eat Cheetos or Doritos when they're, but I know people that eat while they're stitching. I drink while I'm stitching.
Yeah.
But it's typically water. And I've had catastrophes. I'm not going to lie. I've had catastrophes with my stitching where I've put it down and my kids have like spilled orange tang on it or something like that, and it's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And I've had
Bonnie used to have 6 kids, but
yeah, there's only 4 of them left. No, and stuff like that. I spilled tea on mine one time on a project of mine. Yeah.
Ooh.
And it was bad, but you learn from those mistakes when you do stuff like that, and then you get a little bit more comfortable. I mean, a little more careful. I have an ottoman that I stored, so when I'm not stitching on the queen, I put my queen inside the ottoman. So it's a dark black box that nobody can get into except me. So, that's where I put my feet on at night at my stitching chair, and I bought it specifically because it was like a trunk, I can open it up. But anyways, no, I am not meticulous with my, I sound like I'm just like, whatever, throw mud on there. It's all good. I'm not like that. I'm not as meticulous as you are. But that's okay. I mean, and I admire you for being that way. It's just, I'm meticulous about other things, like I'm very meticulous about finishing.
Right.
Not very meticulous about how I stitch, or how I keep things covered or so. I don't really care. That doesn't concern me.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm sure it's overkill from my end, but it's what makes me comfortable. So it's what I do.
No, and I admire you for doing it. I just am, and that's why I said after listening to it, I feel like Pigpen because mine is not as carefully handled as what yours are. So
yeah, no, I have all kinds of quirks like that. I'll drink whatever, Diet Pepsi, beer, whatever, while I'm stitching. But I also have a coaster that to get the beverage, and it's in a covered container. To get the beverage, I literally have to turn 90 degrees away from my work and reach over to get it. So that way I know that the only way it gets spilled on my work is if I turn back and hold it over the work.
Yeah.
And so it's, just little things like that I like to believe help me prevent or avoid that kind of a catastrophe. But Sooner or later, it's going to happen to all of us.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's, it's just like what I said before. In my mind, you can get like, is this acid free and is this? And I'm very particular about acid free on my finishing and things. I'm very, very particular about it. But I don't know that they were washing their hands every 5 minutes when you had to like go out, pump water. You know what I mean? I don't know if they were doing that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
So.
Yeah. So Darcy brought up an interesting thing, just kind of got the wheel spinning about this whole thing of keeping things clean and how far to go and how far not to.
Right.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you're ever wondering about Mellor, Mellor, who else but Mary Corbett has an article on him? Yeah,
I didn't even know about him until I guess probably when Mary Corbett wrote her article.
Yeah.
I do not own one. And, but yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. I think, if I'm not mistaken, she has a sterling silver one because she said that sterling silver is a softer metal than stainless steel. That's how come her Mellor is sterling.
Yeah. It does less damage in gold work or zero damage. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can remember that. Isn't that amazing? Retention, brain retention. Don't own one though.
I'm absolutely impressed you remembered that.
Yeah, I can remember that because I thought sterling. When I was reading it, I thought, what is this?
Yeah, you thought, oh, Mary Corbett, show off.
Mary Corbett. What is up with her and her sterling silver Mellor? I don't even know what that is. But anyways, yeah, I can remember that. Yeah, and
she backed it up though. She backs it up.
Yeah.
This is why.
I mean, she does.
Yep.
And she, and I think that, that's just important. And that's the beauty of Mary Corbett and, Fiber Talk and other blogs and floss tubes and wherever, fill in the blank of this, community of hobbyists and artists and the knowledge that we all can get, little tidbits of knowledge and information that we can get from each other and, grow our minds, expand our hobbies, learn more, think about, hard subjects like what Darcy brought up,
Yeah.
Are you going to be Hawkeye going in and doing precision surgery on your needlework? Or are you going to be Pigpen like Vanna? I'm going to be Pigpen. I'm not going to be Hawkeye.
I'm proud of it, by golly.
Yeah, I am. Just call me Pigpen because that's what I'm going to be. I kind of feel like that after listening to you. I mean, you would probably gasp in horror if you walked in to where my stitching is because I think I have in fact, I know last night my seat stand fell off of my 3-tiered cart and I left the needlework that was in that flat on the hardwood floor and I didn't pick it up.
Ooh.
Yeah, what's in that? Oh, it's the Early American series. It fell off. I was frustrated. And I was like, I'm going to bed. And I didn't even pick it up.
Well, you showed that piece of neat linen, didn't you? By golly. Yeah. You put it in its place.
You make my seat stand fall off. You might as well just forget it.
Man, that is some hard discipline right there, Vanna.
I know, right?
Yeah. I bet that piece of linen was just quaking.
Yep. I know. But I will say that, now that I'm using my seat stand, I am using it quite a bit. I think I told you that.
Yeah.
And, I'm actually, I take it off every night. Anything that I'm working on, I take it off. And I'm more apt to roll it and put it in either my project roll or in one of my bags that I have with this. Yeah, I am really doing good about that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, all right.
But I'm still Pigpen though.
I can see a T-shirt.
I'm Pigpen.
No, needle thread with that dirt cloud over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I am. Yeah.
I'm Vanna. I'm proud of it. Deal with
it. That's right. Whatever. I'm proud of being.
I can see that. Yep.
Yeah.
So let's see. Coming up, We got so much stuff coming up, it's scaring me.
I don't know when we're all going to get it accomplished. That's
Yeah, I don't know either. Because now we got Nashville coming up in, 3 weeks? Roughly. 3 weeks. So we're going to do live shows from Nashville.
Yeah.
We're going to do live shows, so watch for those. They'll be recorded, and you'll be able to watch them after the fact. But there'll be live shows, and that's the way we're going to show what's there at the market. So hopefully the designers will allow us to borrow some of their charts, the ones we want to talk about. Will allow us to borrow them for the shows, and then we'll give them back. But except
or
the ones
if they want to let us have them, we'll take them gladly.
Yeah. Or the ones we buy, because I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do by weight. By weight, the number of pounds of charts Vanna takes out of Nashville market. That's what we're doing.
It's not going to be much, Gary, because I have not only a huge stash, but I also have a huge amount of money that I've earned, like in trade for finishing with the Shepherd's Needle, because I've finished for them. And Anne wrote me this weekend and said, do not buy anything anywhere because I owe you lots of money. So
okay.
So you won't see it. It'll just be shipped to me.
Yeah.
In a jumbo jet.
Yeah. Yeah. Forklift to the door. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
So we're gonna do live shows, and that will don't think we're gonna do some videos, individual videos, but not near like we've done in the past. We'll do that through the live shows and show what's going on. Then that'll give people a chance to ask questions and so on and so forth. So that'll be good. And then we'll do some other podcasts and things at the show. But we'll give you at Nashville, we'll give you as much coverage as we can throughout the 3 days. We'll be there working it.
I'm kind of scared about that, to be honest with you.
Why? It's fun.
I'm certain it's going to, I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm going to be as good as what you do, but I'll help you. I'll try to be as good as I can.
I'm sure it'll be just fine.
I get worried about that kind of stuff.
Oh, well, whatever. Don't. It'll be fine.
All right.
Yep. And then we have the Agnus Dei. Let's make a decision right now. Somebody suggested that the Agnus Dei Lenten stitch thing that we're doing, suggested that we just open it up and say, join us and do any modern folk embroidery design.
Starting on Fat Tuesday.
I can't think of a reason not to. Can you?
I can't really think of a reason not to either. We did it.
I don't really care what people stitch, so.
I don't either. The reason we chose Agnus Dei was because last year it really kind of became a whole thing with me stitching Jesus. I had a huge amount of people because I did a reflection. I posted my morning progress, and then I did like a little reflection from my morning devotions, and then that was it. And it kind of came a whole thing, because and I didn't really mean it to be a whole thing, but it kind of became that. So that's why we chose Agnus Dei, which was, a reflection of the 40 days of Lent, really, or the Passion of Christ is what's represented in Agnus Dei. And that's why we chose that. That was your idea.
Yes.
And so, no, I don't have any problem with anybody doing a modern folk embroidery, but I think it should be something that has been that they start on Tuesday, not like, like I'm doing the family patchwork and, well, let's do that. I think it should be something that you purchase from Jacob and start on Fat Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. That'll be it.
Yeah.
Yep. Purchase from Jacob. Kim has all the charts, so you can get it from her.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, that's something. Start on Fat Tuesday. So any design of Jacob's, not his monthly thing.
Yeah, not the monthly sal.
That'll be our deal. So that's our Lenten thing, and Vaughn and I are going to do Agnus Dei. So let's do that. And Kim has kits for Agnus Dei that you can get from her.
Right, and I think there's several people that are doing Agnus Dei with us.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kim has all of his charts.
Yeah.
Like you can go in the store, all of his charts are bagged up, printed out, bagged up. So you can do that. So she can fix you right up. So you can just call her and get the chart sent right along with the with whatever linen and thread you buy.
Right.
She'll kit it up.
Right.
Yep.
Or he has an Etsy shop too where you can get a PDF download if you decide like on Monday night before Fat Tuesday that, hey, I want to join Gary and Vanna. You can do that. It can happen.
Stash. Clean out that stash.
Yep. So
all right, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm gearing up. I'm Fat Tuesday. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really frustrated by Easter because I will not have gotten it done. But
it's huge.
I know.
It's huge and very dense.
I'm going for it.
I know you are, and I guess I'll have to too.
The flosh will fly.
Flosh is flowing. Flowing flosh.
So I'm going for it. Yep.
Okay, good.
And then we're also, let's see. Oh, and then in March now we did Stitch with Gary here in February. So then March now we haven't picked a Saturday. We'll do it on a Saturday. We'll have another finish show with Vanna, so we'll get to watch Vanna's magic hands finish things. That was cool. Yeah. I enjoyed that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we'll have another drawing for a right. Will Marga do that again?
I'm sure she will.
Yeah. So I'll announce it now. You know, if you want to watch me on March, it happens only during the live show.
Yep.
You watch me during the live show, and at the end of the show, we will pull a winner for a free finish. I finished one for the winner for when was that? January? For January, and it went out in the mail today. I posted it on Fiber Talks Instagram and on my own Instagram. So because Gary gave me the keys to the kingdom, I should say.
Yeah, Send me that picture because I'll put it with this podcast too. Because that worked out great. That snowman and the way you put the edge on that was pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. That was beautifully stitched. That was a beautifully stitched piece on perfect color linen too. It's
almost like you have talent.
Well, I didn't have talent stitching it, but I did have really good talent on finishing. If I do say so myself. It was pretty. And I did beading along the ribbon too. I didn't show that in the picture, but I did a line of beads about every inch all the way around.
Yeah.
And to hold in, it looked like it was holding the ribbon in. It really wasn't, but it appeared to be. And it was ice blue white crystal beads, and it just was really pretty. Just a little accent.
Yep.
But anyways, Suzanne was the winner. Thank you, Suzanne, for watching. And she, I sent her a preview picture of it before I put it in the mail, wrapped it and put it in the mail. And she said that she was thrilled with it, and she would be shouting it, posting it all over the place. So thanks, Suzanne. For that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was fun. Suzanne. Okay. So chance to win another one next time. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Trying to think what I'll give away on my Stitch With Me shows. A needle.
Oh gosh.
I'll give away a needle.
Yeah. You ought to give away a pack of peacemakers.
No, I want to keep those.
Oh. A ball of orts or something.
Yeah, I got orts. Yeah. I'll send you a bag of orts. Yeah.
Yeah.
A dime bag of orts. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. All right. We're going to call it right here. So Friday night, join us. We're back to Friday night live shows, 8:00 Eastern. Join us. Oh, we got to get a guest.
We got to get a guest, and we ought to get Cupid because it's Valentine's Day, Gary.
On Friday, we're having a live show on Friday on Valentine's. Well, that's going to wreck your date night. Is that going to mess you up?
No, we don't have date nights.
Oh, I don't want to mess up a Keith and Vanna date night.
No,
because I guarantee you we're not having a date night. So,
well, no, we're not going to have a date night. He told the kids you know what he's going to do Friday night? Taxes. He's doing taxes
on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, on Valentine's Day.
There you go.
And that's how much he loves me.
My heart's warm just thinking about it. I know. Yeah.
My heart's warm too. He told me so he's a government employee, so he does get off President's Day, so that's Monday, the following Monday, and he said that he would take me out for pizza on Monday.
Okay.
So happy George Washington's birthday or whatever.
Outstanding.
I know, right? Awesome.
Wow. Yeah, all right. So then those who don't have a Valentine's date night this Friday, join us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be your dates.
I'm not going to wear red or white.
No, me either.
I'll wear whatever I have on.
I'm going to probably wear my nightgown, but you wouldn't know it.
Right. Okay.
That's what I typically wear.
Okay. I think we'll stop right there. I think that's going to be it right there. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.